Father, the last time I brought home a woman from our neighboring village, she was rejected. The gods said it was forbidden to marry from that village, and I have never seen a woman like her since then. King If replied with a mix of sternness and compassion. There lived an aging ruler whose wisdom was as renowned as his kindness. His only son, Prince Chima, was expected to ascend to the throne. However, a single, unyielding tradition stood between him and his destiny. The prince must marry before he could be crowned king. This tale unfolds amidst the urgency of tradition and the whispers of destiny. Prince Chima was a striking figure. Yet, despite his royal allure, Chima was troubled by the notion of marriage. The thought did not sit well with him, not because of a lack of love, but because of a love lost to the rigid decrees of tradition. King Ife, now a shell of his former self due to the ravages of time, summoned Prince Chima to the palace. The vast halls of their ancestral home echoed with the urgency of the king's voice as he addressed his son. Chima, I need to know who your heart has chosen. Who is this lady? Bring her home. We want to meet her. She needs to be taken to the gods for the rightful cleansing and sacrifice before you marry her. Chima's heart sank. Father, the last time I brought home a woman from our neighboring village, she was rejected. The gods said it was forbidden to marry from that village, and I have never seen a woman like her since then. King If replied with a mix of sternness and compassion. No, my son. There are many women in this kingdom, beautiful women. Find one and bring her to the palace. His words hung heavy in the air as everyone left the throne room, leaving the king alone with his thoughts. The days passed, and every now and then, young, beautiful ladies would parade themselves in front of the prince, hoping to catch his eye. Yet, Prince Chima seemed oblivious to them all, his mind lost in memories of the love he was forbidden to claim. One evening, the village oracle sent a dire message to the king through his messenger. Tell your king he has 7 days to ask his stubborn son to present his wife-to-be. Otherwise, the throne will be zoned to another family in this kingdom, the old oracle man decreed. The words struck King If deeply, leaving him with a heavy heart. He pleaded with the oracle to send his pleas to the gods and to grant him more time. In desperation, King If organized a lavish ceremony filled with feasts and abundant drink. He commanded his most trusted advisor to gather all the eligible young ladies in the kingdom. The king then sent for Prince Chima, who arrived at the gathering, puzzled by the sudden festivities. What is going on here? Chima asked, bewildered. Come here, my son. Today is your day. Sit with me, the king beckoned. As Chima sat beside him, King Ife gestured towards the crowd. Look at all these ladies. They are here because of you. I believe you will find your queen today, he said, hopeful yet uncertain. Prince Chima's expression remained sullen. As the traditional singers began their melodious tunes and the drummers their rhythmic beats, the young women danced, each trying to impress the prince. But his attention was elsewhere. From afar, in the crowd that had gathered, Prince Chima's gaze fixed on a familiar face, Adana, the woman from the neighboring village. His heart leapt. Without a moment's hesitation, Chima stood and made his way through the crowd, leaving the spectacle behind. He found Adana in tears. What happened? Why are you crying? He asked gently. You are about to get married, to settle down with another woman who is not me, Adana sobbed. Without a word, Prince Chima took her hand and led her to the center of the gathering. Today, I make my final decision. This is my wife-to-be, and no other lady is qualified to be my wife except her, he declared boldly. The crowd gasped in surprise, and within moments, the old oracle man stormed into the gathering. No way. Your decision is rejected. No one has ever married from that village. Why you? He exclaimed, condemning the match. His words were like a storm, leaving turmoil in their wake. King If was dismayed by the turn of events. He sent a message to the oracle to discuss the matter at the palace, but the oracle refused the invitation. As the seventh day approached, men dressed in traditional attire, known as the kingmakers, arrived at the palace. They were received with cola nuts and drinks, customary tokens of hospitality. Your son refusing to bring home a suitor is an abomination in this kingdom. You know them. That is true, King If acknowledged, facing the kingmakers with a solemn expression. You speak the truth, but allow me a moment to explain the challenges we face. One of the kingmakers, a stern old man with deep-set eyes, nodded. Speak, King Ifa, but know that tradition weighs heavily against you. King If leaned forward, his voice laced with urgency. You have been a good king since the day you ascended the throne, and you have brought development to this kingdom. With that, you will have to go to the neighboring village and ask their king to come and appease the gods, the kingmaker instructed, referring to an age-old conflict. You cannot forget what that village has done to us long ago. Their hunter killed one of our promising men and denied it. The king before you declared we must never marry from their village, and they from ours. Since then, it has been so, another kingmaker added, recounting the past grievances that had led to the ban. King Ifa sighed deeply. The weight of the past was a heavy mantle to bear. He knew the task ahead was formidable, but for his son's happiness and the peace of the kingdom, he was willing to confront it. The next day, King Ifa sent messengers to the neighboring village, inviting their king to a meeting to resolve their long-standing feud. The meeting was to be held at the border that divided their lands, a symbolic gesture towards potential reconciliation. As the day of the meeting dawned, both kings arrived with their entourages. The air was thick with tension, but also with a hopeful anticipation that decades of animosity could finally be resolved. King Ife extended his hand in peace. King Azuka, we have been divided for too long. Our children suffer from decisions made long before they were born. I propose we bury our old grievances and unite for the future of our kingdoms. King Azuka, a robust man with a wary gaze, considered King Ife's words. Your proposal is generous, King Ife, but how can we trust each other after so many years of distrust and bloodshed? It is not about trust, but about what is necessary for our people, King If replied. Let us start by allowing marriages between our villages. Such bonds will weave our destinies together, stronger than any treaty. After much discussion, both kings agreed to a new pact. They would allow marriages between their people and jointly host a festival to celebrate the new era of unity. This festival would also serve as the platform for Prince Chima to publicly declare his intent to marry Adana, honoring both their love and the new alliance. Meanwhile, Prince Chima and Adana spent their days in anxious preparation. The prince taught Adana about the customs of his kingdom, while she shared the traditions of her village, weaving their lives together with every shared story and laughter. As the festival approached, the entire region buzzed with excitement. Decorations adorned every home, and the air was filled with the aroma of festive dishes being prepared. On the day of the festival, the sky was a clear blue, and the sun shone brightly, as if blessing the union. The festival grounds were crowded with people from both villages, wearing vibrant attire and wide smiles. King If and King Azuka opened the festival with a joint speech, heralding a new chapter of friendship and cooperation. The crowd cheered, their hearts lifted by the promise of peace. Prince Chima took the stage, his gaze searching for Adana. When he found her, radiant in her traditional dress, his heart swelled with love. Hand in hand, they approached the center of the gathering. Today, I choose Adana as my queen, Prince Chima announced, his voice resolute. Let our union be the first of many that bind our villages together. The oracle, now an old man softened by the winds of change, stepped forward. His earlier objections had given way to the realization that the gods, too, could approve of change if it brought happiness and harmony. "The gods have spoken," the oracle declared, his voice echoing across the gathered crowd. "They bless this union, and with it, the new bond between our villages." The celebration that followed was unlike any other, filled with dancing, singing, and the shared joy of two communities becoming one. As the night drew to a close, the stars seemed to dance in the sky, mirroring the joy on the ground. King Eve watched from his seat, a content smile playing on his lips. As his eyes slowly closed, he whispered a final prayer for his son and the future of their kingdom. He passed away peacefully that night, his heart full of pride and hope. Prince Chima ascended the throne with Adana by his side, not just as his queen, but as a symbol of the new era. The old traditions that had once threatened to divide them had passed away, replaced by a new tradition of unity and love. Under King Chima's rule, the kingdom flourished, and the bonds between the villages grew stronger with each passing year. The story of the prince and the oracle became a legend, not just of love, but of the courage to embrace change for the greater good.